G'day and welcome to Supreme Commander Forged Alliance. This is a game that Steck sent me. He said it was pretty awesome, and this is on the Neroxis map generator 10.0.17. It's now got a lot more options. It's looking really nice. Giving us the option to have more players, so we've got 5 versus 5 here, and this looks like we're left versus right. So on the right hand side team is team 2, I believe. We've got Jaco, we've got Steck over here, we've got Doily, we've got Blue Flames, and we've got Sapia, and on the left hand we've got Scytail, got Nuclear Reaper, Atomic Crab, and Fire Castle, and in the back here we've got Mr. Zergling. So we're probably going to see this lane here, I'd imagine, having a fair bit of fighting, and then these two sides here, these two lanes, are probably going to be fairly heavily contested. We start seeing one side lose some position, and that's going to start flowing over, obviously, so interesting to see. Zooming in a bit here, we can see that the lighting is a bit deceiving here, and we've actually got a slight rise here in that section. It can look a bit as if it's downset, and the ramps are sort of that slightly more even shading, not with less of a shadow. So looks like we've got a hard edge there and there, versus the more soft edges here. So let's see how the play goes. Let's just speed it up to +1. Got most people in their bases still sitting up. Got Daco moving forward, getting down off his here and setting up for factory production land spam. It looks like we've got a fair number of mexes in these middle areas, so that's going to be probably an opportunity for both Dwelly and for Atomic Crab to get more forces on the board. The rest seem to have a fairly standard sort of 6 mechs layout. Got an interesting bit of extra scouting here on the side, watching out for some run-bys from Steck. And we've got Daco walking into some forces from is it Fire Castle? Yeah, Fire Castle, taking out some land spam. Really not concerned about how much damage he's taking, as long as he can get those factories down. Meanwhile, we've got some forces from Mr. Zergling here defending, while Fire Castle gets a forward base up. Daco seems to have pushed Fire Castle back, which is probably a good sign. We've got a fairly defensive wall going up here. Pretty even, nothing really exciting going up on the top side, but lots of battles going on down here. We've got Blue Flames going for T2, so that'll be interesting to watch. Meanwhile, Daco being pushed further back. Got some reinforcements here. Fire Castle trying to establish that again. Get more land spam into the mix. Deck is coming in as well to help out there. and they're going to be pushing back on Mr. Zergling's, no, sorry, Firecastle's forward base there, but Firecastle's got pretty good force in position there. It's going to be a bit of a tough fight. Got some early bomber action out for Mr. Zergling, getting some good airplay as well. No air forces out for Dweely here. Obviously he has not heard Millen-Wise tell him over and over again to the very wise advice to get your own T1 air support, and they're just picking tanks off, which does not look good. They've also surrendered some ground here, so we're going for a point defence. He's going to start picking them off as well, so that's not a good sign for Dweely. Meanwhile, we've got a bit of a force up here, and looks like Blue Flames is doing a sneaky edge build to get some PD, T2 PD up on the edge here. That's going to start threatening Scytail directly. He's got enough forces there to push in and keep both Nuclear Reaper and Scytail's forces at bay while the commander gets that finished. Meanwhile, down here we've got Firecastle going in. He's had a bit of a run by, but it's really not looking like it's threatening in here. Take out a few engineers, but looks like they're getting pretty well established here, which is a shame because that would be the perfect time for Steck to run in and just nuclearize Atomic Crab's base there, but they're focusing hard on the forces that are pestering them. We've got the T2 PD there doing work. It's currently taking out things on the lower edge there. And while Scytail likes the map, he might be discovering that his base is being vaporized by lasers. So Steck has brought some gunships in, some jesters, and some other forces to try and threaten Mr. Zergling. He's going down into the yellow. Firecastle's got some inties in, and Zergling as well, so they're going to be taken out fairly quickly. Looks like Zergling is going to go in for try and do the same edge build T2. If that succeeds, that's going to be pretty devastating, but got two Lobos on the job keeping them at bay, so that's a good sign. But he's going to keep trying there. Got a bit of a force moving in here, and we've got Atomic Crab going for nano repair. Looks like he's got a few forces by the mole, sneaky mole here is being seen by these mid forces for Atomic Crab, so he's not, so Steck knows they're there, but he's not taking advantage of it. Meanwhile, we've got a bit of a sneaky run by here. We've got more PD going up here. Blue Flames using that T2 build power to get stuff engaged. Scytail retreating now, and that's going to mean Blue Flames is going to be able to get those T1 PDs up. Really capitalise on it with T2. Firecastle's doing very well down the bottom here. He's got a lot of forces on the ground. That's really pushing Steck and pushing Daco back there. It's Mantis versus Mantis and Mantis versus Pillar. So it's going to be all close combat and fairly ugly stuff. I suspect Daco is probably struggling a bit here for He's got a T2 PD, but it's way back, and it's just going to have problems with the terrain there. Meanwhile, his base is being pretty thoroughly clobbered by a superior force by Firecastle. Steck is doing his best to hold out there. Sightale needs mass. At the top, he's got his own Oblivion turrets, but he's probably going to lose that and the next one. And I suspect Sightale is going to lose his base. Is Steck or Jakeco going to lose theirs? In the middle, Atomic Crab's establishing his position. Looks like we've got an excellent run by here for Blue Flames, really getting into Nuclear Reaper's forces there. And looks like Dwelly has been busy going for T2. So is he going to put those to good use? He's got sorry, those are the pillars. We've also got a T2 PD here up from Zapier, defending that southern edge. So it looks like got hoplites on the ground, taking out those FAMs at range, but that really does look like it's done a fair bit of damage to the structures there. We've got another big force moving in here. Steck is up the front. He's building point defense. He's going to start trying to whittle away those early forces and move up with his commander and maybe push back here. Interestingly, Firecastle is moving back with his forces. What's he trying to do? Or what's he guarding against? We've got artillery here that's going to start pressuring. It's an artillery outpost here, just out of range of that triad, and it's starting to pressure Jakeco's base. That's going to be a problem. Speed and range gun going up for Atomic Crab. He's nearly done with that. That will start to really pressure this forward position here. Even though we've got some good terrain usage by the engineers here, they might get a few successes with the FAMs in the middle there. Blue Flames building up another force here, but having taken out most of Sightale's base, he's really going to struggle there. Looks like the Jakeco is not quite in as bad a position. The Atomic Crab coming in here with to take out some of those PDs, but he's going to start being pushed back. He's got air defense, he's got a few point defense, but that may not last a long time in the face of the Othams. The pillars might not last too long in the face of the Guncom, but now we see the tech missile spam, and that's going to really cause problems. Need a couple of tech missile defense here. Meanwhile, the artillery is making life materially worse for Jakeco. He's been oscillating around here, hasn't really been getting much done. He's got a few forces up the front, but Zergling's commander is up there to defend, so he's really going to have a lot of problems trying to get that fire base, the artillery base there out. So we're pretty much divided on even lines here. Lapier's not moving forward a lot. He's got a pretty defensive position. Lapier's been reduced to almost nothing by that edge build, and he's getting the last of it out with the TAC missiles. Hopefully he'll be able to rebuild. Deck's coming in with a good force here. He's finding a few problems with the land, but he's got good defense. I think they're probably trying to make a push for to get this artillery out. It might be might have a hard time. We've got a few Oblivion turrets and a T2 commander on, as well as some hoplites here. So I think that T1 force is really just not going to last. It's going to be a bit of a battle of economy here. Who can survive the longest? Atomic Crab pushing back in the middle. He's got a lot of reclaim there. Looks really juicy. Can make the best of it. Got more. We've got a shield land factory going up. An ambitious project. Get your get your TAC missile defense up first. And we've got artillery here for Sapir, going to pressure Lightail's base as well. So we're getting a bit of progress here. Zergling has gunships out and going to start work on getting moving Jaco back. Jake has lost most of his base. He's got no shielding. Got a commander that's been under attack. Going to lose a lot of his infrastructure there. So it's really up to Steck here at the moment to try and keep those forces busy. We're seeing not a lot of progress here on the top for Blue Flames. He's got another factory up, not doing a heck of a lot. Looks like Sapir's artillery is doing more work there. The artillery battles are really looking fierce on the top and bottom, and looks like they finally got Hightail. I suspect that wasn't a Control K, but he really had nothing there. Very difficult for him to continue. So I wouldn't blame him for Control K-ing there, but I don't think Nuclear Reaper is going to be that happy with it. Atomic Crab's being pushed back in the middle here. He's got a little bit of shielding on Dwelly's forces, but he's relying mostly on pillars to move forward and take on the T1. We've got a few Ilshavo there to try and combat them. The commander's moving back. He's probably in no real danger. Looks like Jaco is still holding out here pretty well. Got a missile battery up to make life more difficult for Steck. And just not going to make much of an impression with your TAC missile defense when you've got 8 Vipers to cause you problems. Blue Flames here is hoovering up as much mass as he can. And that push by Dwelly in the centre has really run out of steam. Looks like Atomic Crab is really not getting a lot done in the centre there though. I suspect Dwelly is getting a bit better. He's got a good battery of TAC missiles there that might be good to push forward, but now Zergling's got his forward base. He's got his Oblivion and Miasma's going up to keep Jaco under pressure. Jaco is really going to have problems there. But we've come in with a bunch of Gatling bots trying to pressure Nuclear Reaper's forward base. He's having to bring his forces back. We've got Blue Flames up the front here, pretty bold, under fire from the PD, but he's not really that fussed about it. That push didn't last though, and we've got hoplites moving in. Has Blue Flames maybe extended himself a little too far here? So now we see again the Vipers coming in, and the Vipers are probably going to do more damage than his Miasma ever had. Miasmas are an amusing long distance thing, but I reckon unless you're facing Aeon attack missile defense, you can be pretty confident that Vipers are a better investment in the mass. The Steck and some of Dwelly's forces are coming up here. Is it going to be TML versus TML? That could be an interesting battle to watch. Let's see how they go, and looks like Steck is moving his stuff back. Interesting. Going to lose that here. Is the Vipers are really making good inroads there. Nuclear Reaper has his artillery battery out, but it's going to have more problems. Established artillery battery already having problems with shielding, and looks like he's trying to get more up the front there. But a really good push from Dwelly on the side here. It's being met by forces from Atomic Crab. So if that had happened 10 minutes earlier, that could have been significantly different. Now it's going to really struggle. Caught the tail end of the hoplites here, and the Ilsheva backing it down. And it's really got nothing to hit at the moment. It's trying to get into the back of Firecastle's base. He's got some Spectres coming from Mr. Zergling. I suspect that's really not going to go too far. Chance that those Mongoose were going to take out the Vipers. Thoroughly denied by extra. Are there rocket? No hoplites there. Oh yes, there's the PD there. So Jayco's base is now mostly destroyed. Vipers coming in, taking out the rest of that. Jayco trying to build himself a spot there. Rear guard, getting that C2 Cerberus turret with deck got put in place. All that those many minutes ago has finally actually done some work. But it's not going to be in range of the TMLs. Get the time. Seeing any TMD going up, that's going to be pretty important, because already seeing missiles coming. That battery of TMLs there, got to be at least 15, 16 there. It's just not going to last. It's not going to be shifted if it's not pushed directly. We have Jayco has sent some forces around the side that I've missed previously. Blue Flames getting a bit of an army up to try and counter this base spam here from Nuclear Reaper, and Firecastle is pushing forward. What's the plan? Got Raz going up for Dwelly, and the splash gun going up for Atomic Crab. Here's those Vipers coming in. They're not the Vipers. Talking about, of course, the Flapjacks. Starting to try and push in on that choke point there, but it like Jayco is pretty much out of this. He's trying to get up. Mass, and it's almost immediately going to be taken out by those by those men. So it's really point. However, now is the time to send your forces in and try and take out at least some of those Vipers. Bit of salt from Nuclear Reaper, Cytail, who was wiped off the face of the earth. Not happy about it, and but and being a bit of a cheeky, clever little Zooey spam, taking out some of the Reaper's side mixes, which is a useful thing. Now we're going to see a main engagement here. The Vipers have pulled back, and we're going to lose most of that other army here. Dwelly is pushing Static. He's going to be taken out by those missiles again. He's got gunships on him as well. There's no flak mixed in, unfortunately. Sky Slammer doing its little best there, but it's just not time. I fear that Dwelly is going to send his Cyclones straight over that flak there to try and take those missiles out, and they're going to be pulverized. Unfortunately here, Dako is going to lose most of everything in Fire Castle. I'm assuming that was a drop, because it can't have been an edge build. Has moved in and forgotten T1 factories here, but at least the T2 engineering is okay. The Steck is still trying to keep that line, trying to stop Fire Castle from moving forward, and now we see Sapir coming in from Mongoose, and backed up by Ilshava and other forces from Blue Flames. They're going to start really working on Nuclear Reaper's base. He's got a bunch of Cerberus turrets here, but forces coming in and hitting that main build capacity, so they're really not going to last long under that. The commander, the Blue Flames, is backing them up. We've had those bombers take out the artillery take out the mexes, so that'll be limiting Nuclear Reaper as well, and that's really not looking good. He's almost completely out of troops. He's got his commander, which has no vet and not upgraded, back in base, and like really going to struggle. Meanwhile, Blue Flames is actually being attacked by not only T2 but T3 gunships. And who will last longest? Is it going to be Blue Flames to die first, or Nuclear Reaper? Nuclear is still looking good on 7,000, but Blue Flames is down to the red, so I'm pegging Blue Flames to go first here, unfortunately. Still got those forces pursuing Nuclear Reaper, and that Strat Bomb is definitely going to be the answer to can Blue Flames survive this, the answer being no. Nuclear Reaper still is down to 3,000, he's still being pursued. The attack missile, so the strategic bomber had a good chance to do something there and completely failed to be directed to do it. So he's being sent off somewhere else. Are we going to see Nuclear Reaper survive this? Can he get back into someone else's base to survive? Sapier's still pummeling that side with looks like Nuclear Reaper, despite all his begging to his team, has managed to be pursued and hunted down, and unfortunately has met his end. So we've lost 3 players on this top edge, but Sapir is still going well. With Jaco is almost completely wiped out, and looks like Fire Castle is taking over that bit of his base. Sapir has artillery coming in on this side, and that's really going to put pressure on Atomic Crab. Up the front here, he's got a heavily built up gun comm. He's got a lot of vet, so he can easily push those T2 forces back. No problem with that. A lot of mass in that center. Deck holding the line here, but he's really missing an opportunity to move in, and being decimated by those hoplites. And this shows what an attack move order can do. You can select those move orders and attack, and they will move up to the limit of their range. That makes a lot of difference. We've also got Miasma. Miasma's just in range. Finally, Jadeco is getting some flapjacks in to try and take out this. Might be too late to do anything about reclaiming his base, but we'll see. The Sapier's coming in to reclaim some of Blue Flames' base. We've also got a lot of opportunity to take some of the rest of these bases up here. Now what's he going to be up to? And we've got a snipe. Steck has got a Corsair snipe, but Jaco has been taken out by Strat Bombers. Didn't see that coming. Steck is desperately trying to work on Atomic Crab. Atomic Crab with Raz is getting 94 points a second regen, and those Corsairs are just not going to survive. It was a valiant effort, but unfortunately Jaco has been taken out here, and Atomic Crab is still alive. And we've got a bad look on dark clouds on the horizon for Steck here as well. He's desperately trying to get up. Got PD in the back here. He's desperately trying to get forces forward to try and keep this horde of grey tanks away from sent by Firecastle. We've got some Percivals in now, and they're eating sniper fire. But Percival isn't really going to do a heck of a lot against a full regen gun com. It's just going to be, they're just going to be off the map. So it's looking bad for Steck here, and it's looking good for Atomic Crab. Steck has hidden himself down in the water here. Kind of sticking out there. He needs to pop his head under the water just to keep out of the way of the stealth. Or keep out of the way of vision. And looks like Mr. Zergling here is doing very well. Thank you very much. Deck. So Zergling sending in his P3 air to try and take out some air. Dwelly holding the line really quite well in the middle here, keeping his forces, and is using his forces, including an impressive array of flapjacks as well, to try and pressure the forces from Firecastle that are holding Steck at bay. What are they? Are they going to survive? What can Steck do? Like that was taken out by the strategic bombers as well. We've got some gunships coming in from Dwelly. Got another horde of Corsairs, or a fleet of Corsairs being formed up here. Can they find another commander to take out? Firecastle is in the front. But it's really down to Atomic Crab with full health, 20,000, and Firecastle under shielding, Zergling under shielding as well. He's getting T3, all going. And meanwhile, we've got a clever little restorer side play here, probably sent out to take a bunch of mass extractors out. Really, this is pretty slow from Sapir, I'd say, trying to get these, should have most of these mass extractors, and indeed most of them mass reclaimed by now. But on the other hand, it's far easier to comment than play, so I usually do terribly at these things too. So, however, we've got the bad news continuing to come in for Steck here. He's got his factories doing what he can, but he's got a brick on the front line trying to do some work, but he's being targeted by everything they've got here. We've got some gunships coming in here to try and take out some of the forces. They've got a few flak in the mix, and the flak just takes them out in a couple of shots. So looks like Stick is really going to be facing oblivion here. What's going to happen to him? Advanced nano repair going down for atomic crab, so apparently 100 units a second regen is not good enough. He's on full veterancy. He's been really using that well. He's got P3. Also under assault by a good installation of T2 artillery. So Fire Castle's forces are being met here. And we've got a few Corsairs in the mix to try and do some damage as well, to try and hold on to the edge of Steck's base here. Steck doing a bit of scouting, but I suspect that that's really going to struggle to make a dent. If they can at least take out those Vipers, then that will be a relief for Steck, because he's otherwise going to lose pretty much everything in the front here. And there's those restorers taking out the side mexes of Sapia. And then moving into the back here as well. That's not looking good. We've got a few air cleaners, but very little. There's no flak. There doesn't seem to be anything in the way of defences here. That's a really bad sign. If I was Dwelly at this point, I'd be building T2 flak as fast as I physically could. Fortunately, he's got Raz on his commander, but he's only got T1. Interestingly, Zerglings lose forces back. Where's that? That is interesting. All we find out, we've got a forward firebase here with, I think there was a Gunther in there somewhere. There we are. So that's doing something. We've got a gunship in for Steck. Take out some of those forces, and then a bit of flak mixed in. Just going to decimate those gunships very quickly. They're at least trying to hold on to that last bit of the mass. Where are we getting? We're not seeing any more artillery, and we're not seeing any mobile artillery Sapia yet. Looks like Atomic Crab is moving up here on the side, just to take some more mexes and more territory. Definitely a lot of reclaim that could be being hoovered up here. I'm not seeing a lot of engineers out. Now we see, unfortunately, the last bits of Steck's base are going to be annihilated. He's got bricks, we've got rhinos, got a few hoplites, got flak to protect against the air. A bit of a attempt at taking out that banger, but it's going to get very far. It might take it out, yeah, it might, but pretty much everything that Steck owned is being wiped from the face of the earth. Got one mass extractor up the top, down the bottom here. Well, meanwhile, interestingly, Steck is going for stealth. impressive. Like a man who doesn't quit. So we've got Zooies piling up for Atomic Crab. Doesn't seem to be any edge built. B2, and there's one triad there. Doesn't be doing a heck of a lot. Should be taking that, but we've got Othams moving in, and now we've got Mongoose and Titans to push in. Can they take out the... Meanwhile, Atomic Crab's got... is still halfway through that advanced nano repair upgrade. Is he going to be forced to quit? The Othams are retreating. The under shield is desperately trying to get up some T1 PD just for general firepower, and the commander is laying down the splash damage as well. So it might be, and we've got Restorer spam in for, and look at that, it's going for the laser. Wow. Okay, so we've got Atomic Crab still upgrading. He's got engineers there building in defense. We've got P3 Restorers here to hold that front line, but it really looks like that force from Sapia has not got far enough. And meanwhile, Burley has problems of his own because those forces have from Firecastle have been brought in. They're doing their best, but we've got bricks and we've got bricks against a commander, and a commander has Raz but no other upgrades. Are they going to be able to do anything here? We've got the Air Force being cleaned up by Mr. Zergling. We've got no other PD in the base. It looks like this is going to push Wiley out of his base. That's bad news. And here comes some Dockers. Have they targeted him? Certainly got him in their sights. There goes the bombs, and wow, he's down to 2,000 hit points. He's probably not going to survive another pass. We've got one bomber taken out there. We've got that force being has pushed out. We've got and it's still got damage being done, and nope, there's another two shockers coming. That will be the end of really. Taken out by Mr. Zergling. Don't neglect your base defenses, I think, is the lesson there. So we're seeing those. We're still seeing a rally point of buoys being built by Atomic Crab, which are otherwise serving no purpose other than to give the Clink Hammers something to target. So that's kind of them, really.
Strategic launch detected.
And we have a strategic launch. Got the missile coming out from Sapia. That's where his energy has been going. He's got Firecastle in his sights. Head him slightly. Firecastle is going north, and the nuke was going slightly north of where Firecastle was. Is he going to be in blast range? How are we going to go? How close is he going to get? And yes, Firecastle taken out by Sapia. That is going to mean a considerably smaller amount of pressure here. So it's down to 2v2, Sapia and Steck versus Atomic Crab and Mr. Zergling. Steck is up to 41% on the laser. Probably desperately trying to get any resources he can. And he's stuck here. He's got nothing. He's probably going to be asking Sapia for any resources he has spare. So it's really a 1v2 fight here. Got incredible amounts of reclaim. 291,000 reclaim on the map. And we'll be doing a lot. Got some restorers coming in. Have they seen where has Steck? off under the water, so we might get a bit of splash damage. Has the Zergling seen where Stack's comm is? No, we don't know. Moving them over there. So meanwhile, we've got some support ACUs out for Atomic Crab. He's got some up. Starting to see that this forward position Ravager going up, shielding for Sapir. The nuke is being heavily assisted there. It's about halfway to the second nuke. Do we have nuke defense? Well, seeing a GC here. I'm not seeing a heck of a lot of... I know there's a nuke defense in Zergling's base. He's already got one in the clip, so it's no point trying for that point there. Got support ACUs moving out, as well as the commander, to try and take out that forward fire base. Will give them a bit of pressure. T2 being sent in here to try and attack, but really not going to last a heck of a long time. The port ACU is going to get a bit of work done. Base here. Only got T2, and I think hammers aren't going to be able to target. But that's 29,500 hit points it's got to take out there, and he's fencing a bit to try and get something done. Got the restorers coming in, so I don't think they've seen Steck yet. Maybe they just think he's out of the game completely. But yep, that forward fire base has lost its shielding. It's going to go down. Mostly going to be point. It looks like Sapir is really their only hope, and he's getting a Novax up. Still trying to assist that. Not getting much further on the Donager. Seeing for Sapir, he's minus 300. He is literally surrounded by mass in every place. He's got spare engineers. He's minus 300. Dude, you just need to send out your engineers and give him some of that mass. you're get it done, man. Anyway, so yep, they've spotted the Novax. Are they going to try to take that out? What are they going to do? Got this force of restorers up here. There's Zergling. What is it? It's being circled around. I suspect they're trying to look for Steck. I think Hammer's still having no trouble ranging pretty much everything in sight. The port AC been running here. So we've got the GC out now for Mr. Zergling. He's got bombers, got a good squadron of bombers, got a good air support, got rolling doorers, got forces coming around the back here for Atomic Crab. They could make things difficult if they find a way into the back of the base there. There's not a lot of defensive structures here, and there's actually really not a lot of units. We seem to be going mostly into base defense here. I think these are just being sent around to try and see if they can find anything to do with Steck. So now that we're not doing a heck of a lot, I'm going to boost it up to +2 just to move through this a bit faster. So got forces coming in here, probably be spotted and built that. Still, Chauvet-Lives a bit more complicated. good shielding there and down. So just inside the shield, but they're probably going to target there. We've had a bit of a scouting run, trying to look around, see what's in Sapier's base. That's mostly going to be hosed down. Port AC and Atomic Crab. Interestingly, he's got his commander out looking as well. And we've got the Novax is up and satellite has been launched. Right, it goes. Really does it, you know, compared to how fast we launch a satellite, they've obviously got much more advanced technology, because that's put a satellite more or less completely into orbit in only a couple of seconds. Really, that's pretty good. So, amusingly, the defense satellite is being sent out to try and whittle away on Atomic Crab. Sort of interesting approach. I suppose it is completely unblockable. We've got a GC here that I think Sapier is a control. Yeah, you can definitely see the nasty looking dot there. What's he going to do about that? Galactic Colossus coming in. Started to be targeted, but we've got that massive death beam coming in. Got a bit of air support. You can still see the Novax trying to take out Atomic Crab in the background. Looks like the DC is moved directly in to try and target Sapier. Sapier's comm is moving out, and the GC is down to half health already. Those Titans really whittling away on it. It's not helped by the fact that it's just stopped, and it's just been hit by the explosion of that P3 P-Gen, and Sapier is saved. Got a support ACU in here to try and take out things as well, but that's not going to last very long either up against a pretty top quality Ravager spam there. It has taken out the nuke launcher, so that will be a bit of a disappointment. Deck now has he's still halfway, I think, through that laser upgrade. He's got stealth, he's got T2, he's got anything else. He's just waiting for any possibility of resources here, and we've got a pretty good force here now sent in. Atomic Crab and his support commander, they're trying to get up some shield gens. They started on a T2 one, they've got a T3 one at the back there, but now we've got the Novax working on them, and we've got a pretty strong defense. So it looks like Atomic Crab is going to have a bit of a hard time maybe. The support ACU is doing well, trying to take things out. His commander is down to 3,000. Wow, that really melted off. Those Titans just absolutely obliterated the hit points on Atomic Crab. So now, wow, we're down to 2v1. Well, really 1v1, because Steck has basically nothing. But we've got Zergling with the Tsar out. He's got a good goodly amount of Coronas here to form an air force. Really, we've got, wow, a fair number of T3 anti-air. So I think it's going to be a question of how much can the Tsar be brought in to find Sapir in the middle of that base while under fire, or is it just going to lose too much hit points? It's got 70,000 in total on structure and shield. And what has happened to the Novax Center's satellite? Where's that? Ah, yes, there it is. Oh no, Zergling! You didn't build like 40,000 energy storage and put them right next to a T3 PGen and then have them all in lines, did you, man? Oh, man. It hurts me. So that's basically the T3 PGen that's not under shielding gone. Novax, not very good at attacking shields, but anything that's not shielded is fair game. And Stek's got the laser done. Here comes the... Are we going to see Sapir taken out by that? He's running away. He's got the... It's badly damaged, and down goes the Tsar. It's taken out a bunch of other structures in the middle of his base, including some pretty important T3 mexes there. But wow, the Tsar is down too. Zergling is really struggling to make a dent. Are we going to see a long-range artillery war? We've now got cloaking going up for Stek. That's boy, if he can make it through this, I'm going to be really impressed. That's going to be heroic. Sapir's back with his comm. He's got still got good support. He's still got good resources, and he's got a complete Tsar wreck there to make hay with. So, can he get his build power up and running? It has taken out the Novax as well, which is a bit disappointing. Nick's asking for T3 PGen because cloaking apparently costs energy. And luckily Sapir had one to spare. We've got another Novax going up on the wreck of the old, so he's got a bit of an opportunity. Fire Castle is a bit unhappy and complaining in the chat, but oh well, it's sometimes just the strange way that we these games play out. So Stek has a couple of engineers to make things. He's got a fusion reactor. I wonder if he actually knows about those. They have been pinged, so they should be able to do something. But yeah, if he needs Stek's main problem at the moment, masses of power. So one power generator is just not going to do enough for him. He's overflowing mass because, of course, Sapir is probably overflowing mass. But yeah, he's really struggling with the power on that, and focus on his efforts on building those PGens. So we've got the Novax going up, we've got PGens going up. What's Zergling's next play? He's got an emissary going up. Also got another portal for summoning support commanders. It looks like he's got deck. Went straight over him. He's got forces here as well. Zergling's setting up for a side base here that really start eating up all the mass in Stek's base and Jaco's base and basically everyone else's base. Got a bit of a force here being sent in the side. they are having problems with the terrain mapping, so they're going to find that the only way to do that is to go around past all of the defences. We're going to be picked off. We've got restorers moving up here. We've got shockers being built up in force. Not seeing. We've got a bit of a drop here that we've been forgotten. Zergling gets stuff done over here. Really only T1 and T2. So it's not going to last a long time in front of basically a very well placed line of Ravagers. The Novax is now coming in. He's got the Novax up. We've got Stek's got more power generators. Got a T2 is starting on a T3. What is Sapier's plan at this point? He's paused everything. Now looks like he's going for more shielding and more air defense, so he's probably fearing a snipe. And in that position, I wouldn't be surprised. Stek has cloaking done. Where is he going to go? Let's see. So he's actually moving out. Okay, that'll be interesting. He might do some damage. See what he can get done. And meanwhile, Sapier is sending his forces out. Good mix of anti-air and Percivals. I think there are some Titans in there, or is it mostly Percivals? So that'll, if there was ever an opportunity to take a straight line, they'll basically have to go straight across those. Of course, the shockers, the gunships are being moved up here to not take a straight line, so that's kind of clever. And now we see a line of P3 scout planes being sent out to try and spot where Sapier's commander is. They're being sent in on a line. Going to be picked off one by one. Sapier shielded and has T3 on his comm, so he's actually looking pretty stocky. Here's the Air Force coming in. So we've got the first wave here, and then the restorers. The bombers are mostly, looks like they're aiming for the Novax, but they got pretty much demolished in one go. The restorers, looks like this is going to be a bit of a failure as far as an air assault. He's got the Novax in his sights, but there's just too much T3 anti-air. The Novax is taken out though, so that's good news. Stek is almost halfway across. He is taking a bit of a devious line here. He hasn't actually tried to take on that base, which is probably in his state a wise move. He has been attack pinged, interestingly, so I don't know whether he's been spotted or not. I'm not actually sure whether that was Stek or Sapier or Mr. Zergling or someone else doing the pinging. But Zergling now has a bit of a force in front of his base that might actually not be a good sign for the Zerg thing. He's throwing up Oblivion defenses, just basically dragging them all over the place, trying to get that long range defense in place. And that stream of scout planes out, being picked off each time they get close. Sapier, what are we working on? Our plan. Another Novax. Dude, this is not dual gap. You're hurting me. Meanwhile, we've got Steck here, moving in, looking good. He's got this, and we've got a bit of a distraction here as well from this side base. I wonder if Steck's going to be able to get in range and take that base out while not under any sight. The Oblivion turrets up. Yep, he is being targeted. He's making a move, trying to move around those Oblivion turrets. Got that force in front here coming in. Zergling is not in the front there. Where's his commander? In the back here, so it might do some damage on the front line. We've got a support commander going down, but looks like the Stealth on Steck has one out here, and he's going to be able to get around the side. Interesting. That's going to be a fun move. So the Percivals here doing their best, but they're just under too much fire. Even against a horde of T1, just not making enough progress. And of course they don't have area of effect damage, so they're just going to overkill everything there, and that's going to peter out. So that has done some damage to Zergling's front base, but otherwise, apart from getting another Novax up online, and it's T1 energy storage right next to volatile things. Oh, it's painful. And of course there's still heaps and heaps of mass that is being collected. Deck is moving up the side here. Zergling, I'm going to go to Zergling's view. Can he actually see? What is he seeing? He's seeing absolutely nothing. Hasn't worked out where Steck is. He might have seen something briefly there. Even more interestingly, he's got this little side avenue in his base here. He's got his emissary most of the way complete. It's nearly done. That is going to start up soon. He's got another heavy shield generator here, and another. We've got energy storage on the side here as well, so that's going to be interesting. Just not. There's that fatal sign. There's the laser coming in, the energy storage goes up, and suddenly Zergling has been pinged. Suddenly he's noticed that there's a commander there. He can't see it. He doesn't know where it is. It's coming in, and this laser beam out of nowhere. It's taken out the emissary in one go. Oh, this is absolutely incredible. We've got a bank of eruptors going up, but the laser is just going to be too fast for them. It's just going to take them out, and we've got Zergling in range, and down he goes. Ah, this is incredible. Deck has taken out Zergling. This is just, this is awesome. I can see why Steck sent me this replay. That was incredible. I never would have picked that Steck would win that with the laser and just walking in and getting it done. That is superb. Meanwhile, Novax is still up, and Novax was doing good work in the base there, but nothing beats a laser to the face. That's great. Well played, everyone. That was a pretty amazing game, and I like Zergling's second base here, building up an extra base to get more resources and to put more pressure on Sapir. But yeah, nice one, Steck. Good work. Well played, everyone, and we will see you in the next game.